Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome along to today's webinar. Today we're looking at how to post your salary journals to Sage 50 Accounts using the Nominal link. So posting them from Sage 50 Payroll. So today I'll be running the session along with Duncan. So I'm from Sage 50 Accounts perspective, and Duncan will be taking over looking at it from a Sage 50 Payroll perspective. So we'll be passing back and forwards during the session today. Now, just before we get stuck into the session today, a little bit of housekeeping for everyone. So you don't need a microphone for these sessions. If you do have one and you've enabled it, you will find it's muted automatically. You can't unmute yourself. So any questions that you have for us during the session today, you'll need to pop them in the questions panel. To access that, you just need to click the little speech bubble icon, which is on your taskbar down the right-hand side of your screen. If you give that a click, it'll expand the panel. You'll get access to that box in the bottom right-hand corner. So any comments or questions, pop them in there. Do bear with us though. We'll try to verbally answer some of those questions towards the end of the session. Others may be picked up during the session by us. So do keep them coming. Remember to click send as well, otherwise we won't get them. There is an opportunity to download a copy of today's slides as well. So if you want those as a bit of a reminder of what we've covered, then do take that opportunity to download them during the session. They aren't fully comprehensive though, so if you do want the step-by-step guides, you will find that information available from our help centre. Now this session is being recorded, and as normal you will receive a follow-up email after the webinar. So around about an hour after we finish, you'll get that email. That will include a link to the recording of today's session. It'll include a link to our webinar registration pages. So if you want to sign up for any other sessions for Sage 50 Accounts or Sage 50 Payroll, or watch the recordings where we've run sessions previously, then you'll have that available to you. So again, it's round about an hour after we finish. So if you get called away or you miss any of it, just watch out for that. Gives you a good opportunity to have a bit of a recap, particularly if you're not ready to set up the Nominal link just yet. Right, this is what we're going to be covering in the session this afternoon though. So we're going to start with a little bit of an introduction to salary journals and the Nominal link. I'll then be passing across to Duncan, who's going to look at setting up the Nominal link within Sage 50 Payroll and also posting the Nominal link. So what does that look like? So what are the steps involved? And then I'll be back to myself to have a look at Sage 50 Accounts. So what does it look like once the transactions have been posted, and what else do you need to do? And then just at the end, we'll explain more about the additional support, and then we're both going to try and answer as many questions as we can. So keep them coming, just so we've got plenty to answer at the end. Apologies if we don't get round to answer your question on the session live today. Loads of supporting information in our help centre, and our support team is on hand as well if you've got anything urgent. So that's our running order. But just before we get started, just to get you involved a little bit so we can judge everyone's background that's on the session today, just got to launch a poll. Pop this on your screen. So nice simple question. Now I'm on about you personally here. So which software do you personally use? Do you personally use only Sage 50? Is it only Sage 50 Accounts? Or do you use both Sage 50 Payroll and Sage 50 Accounts? So if you don't mind, if you could choose an answer, get that submitted. And it just gives us an idea of who we've got attending today. So we'll just give that a few moments. Got loads of votes coming through there. So we'll get a really good percentage of you having voted for that one, which we're just about there. That's great. So I'll close that poll and I'll share the results with you as well, just so you can see what people have voted for. So we haven't got anyone on the call today which is using accounts only. We've got 35% of you which are using Sage 50 Payroll only. So you never know, you might get someone that uses the account side of things asking you for information. So it might be that you set this up just to make both of your lives just that little bit easier. For those of you that do use both, hopefully this is going to be a good time saver for you today. Some of you may already be using Nominal Link as well, and maybe just coming along, just a little bit of reassurance that your understanding is right. But if you've never set it up before and you are using both payroll and accounts, it can be a good time saver for you. So let's get rid of that. Right, okay, let's get back to my screen and we'll get started with the webinar then. Okay, so let's have a brief introduction to the topic that we're covering in today's session. Now, for those of you that are using payroll only, you've probably heard of debits and credits as far as accounts is concerned, but normally if you are in accounts, once you've got your payroll information, and this might be something that those of you that are using payroll only, this might be the type of information that you are transferring across to one of your colleagues. So you're providing them with the total salary information, employer's NI value, the employer's pension contributions, the net pay, the amount owed to the pension provider, that type of thing. And in accounts, what you would do is you would normally post a manual journal. So you will go into the nominal ledger area and you will bring up the journal entry screen and you will literally key in the journal. Now, some payrolls and the journals, that information that you will post, it can be a lot bigger than just the 6 values that we've shown you there. It could be hundreds of lines, depending on how you want to break that down. If you break down your values down by departments, that type of thing, different pay elements, different maybe even different branches of your company. So they can be quite lengthy. So sitting there doing it manually, it can be quite a time-consuming task, and even with the best will in the world, it's probably one of our more common queries when it comes to dealing with salary journals is I can't get it to balance. So Nominal Link, what's that going to do to make your life that bit easier, particularly if you're using both payroll and accounts? Well, Nominal Link makes it quick and easy to enter your salary journals into your accounts. It's a bit of a setup process, which obviously Duncan is going to take you through, where you'll enter things like your nominal settings and you'll say, right, net wages, it's this nominal code. So for those of you that are using payroll only, you may need some help from your accounts colleague to provide that information. But once set up, it's straightforward. So as part of your payroll routine, when you're finished updating your payroll, you will post what's termed the nominal link, and that will post that essentially that salary journal information directly into your accounts for you, rather than you sitting there with any reports or sitting there keying in a manual journal. So it can be a really good time saver, that one. Now, to set this up, what will you actually need, apart from obviously Sage 50 accounts and Sage 50 payroll? Well, to be able to set up your nominal link, and you'll see this when Duncan guides you through the demonstration in just a moment, you will need a logon for Sage 50 accounts. So for those of you that are using payroll only at this stage, then you're going to need that information to enable you to actually set up and specify the settings for the nominal link. For those of you that are using both, obviously you already do. One thing that you might want to do if you are using both payroll and accounts is in accounts, it would be to set up an additional logon, meaning that you can set up the nominal link while you've still got your account software open. If you don't, and you go into the nominal link settings within payroll, then you will find that it prompts you saying this username is already in use. So you would normally have to close your accounts down just so you could log into it to essentially set up your nominal link. So it's worth setting up an additional username that you can log in to accounts with for nominal link purposes. If you're not sure how to do that, you will find that information in those steps. You'll find that in our help center. Now, you'll also need to know the location of your company file. Now, your company file, as far as accounts is concerned, it tells your account software where your accounts data is held. So that might be locally on your PC, it might be on a network drive. So locally on your PC, you will have this company file. You need to tell your nominal link where that company file is. Again, if you want detailed information on that one, you will find how to find that location in our help center. But again, Duncan's going to cover that one as he runs through the setup. And then finally, what you will need is a list of nominal codes. So which nominal code do you use for your net wages? What do you use for certain pay elements? What do you use for pensions? What do you use for NI, PAYE? But again, that will be covered in the demonstration in just a moment. Now, again, if you've got access to accounts and you've got access to payroll, then it's straightforward. You're just switching between the two. If you don't have access to accounts, so the 35% of you that said you had access or processed Sage 50 payroll only, then it's just a case of getting that information. So probably what you'll be after is when you go into the nominal link, it will ask you for a series of nominal codes, and that's where you're going to need to get your accounts colleague involved. Right, what we'll do at this point, we'll hand over to Duncan, and he's going to guide you through the demonstration.
Thank you very much, Michael. So I'm going to show you how to set up the nominal link in Sage 50 Payroll. And we are going to be posting to Sage 50 accounts today, as that's what the majority of you will be using. But it is also possible to set up the nominal link to Sage 200 or to set it up to File, which enables you to run a nominal link report telling you what journals you can then post into any accounts package. But before I go into the demo, I just want to give you an overview of the steps that we'll complete to set up the nominal link. So we're going to do all this from the nominal settings in Sage 50 Payroll. And the first step is to choose our posting destination, which would either be Sage Accounts, or you have that file option if you're not physically posting into an accounts package and you just want to run a report. Our second step will be browsing to the company file used by Sage 50 Payroll and selecting which company we're going to post the information to. And the default path to that company file is shown there on the slide. Our third step will be to enter nominal codes, so the nominal codes that we want to post to. And the fourth step that I'll touch on is setting up overrides, which gives you a more detailed analysis of your payroll information, allowing you to split the cost of specific pay elements or costs associated with a specific department in your salary journals. Now, I have linked to the knowledge base article as well on the handout, so do download that if you'd like to read more on this. So let's just jump over to the demo now. So I'm already logged into Sage 50 Payroll, and I've been given a username and password that I can use to log into accounts. So to get into the nominal settings, I start from the company tasks here in the bottom left corner, and then you'll find from this list, we have nominal settings just here. Now, if you're setting this up for the first time, you may see this message that the data is locked. Just need to click OK to that message to remove it. And then your nominal link settings are split into 3 tabs. So we have our defaults, which includes the destination, so the account software or file. And then we've got tabs for the profit and loss analysis. So this is where we're going to enter P&L nominal codes. And also for the balance sheet analysis, which is where we're going to enter kind of the details that we're going to post our liabilities to. So starting off on the defaults tab, from account software or file, you can open this drop-down list and see the different destinations you can choose. So as I say, we're going to stick with Sage 50 accounts today, but you do have an option for Sage 200 to post a file or to export a file that you could import into Sage Business Cloud Accounting. So you can find out more specifically on those options in our Help Center, but I'm going to stick with Sage 50 accounts. And then the next thing I need to do is to browse to my company file. And because I do have accounts installed on my PC, that's going to be on my C drive. So if I click onto browse, I'm going to go to my C drive. It's located in the program data folder, then the Sage folder, then accounts, and then I choose the folder related to the version that I'm using. So I'm on the latest version of accounts, version 32. So the relevant folder here is 2026. And then that company file that Michael was talking about, which contains the path to my accounts data, is this file at the bottom of the folders. So don't confuse it with company.000. It's just the file here. And if I click onto open, that will then prompt me to log in. So as I say, I've got my own login for accounts, which I've entered just there. And if you have more than one company set up in your accounts, you can choose which of those companies you want to post the nominal link to. And in my example, it is just going to be the Sage webinar demo company. Now, next thing to do would be to start thinking about the nominal codes that I need to enter. Now, currently, I don't have any nominal codes entered for these different categories. And if you are using a standard layout of accounts, you could choose to use default nominal codes, which gives you a nice starting point, and it suggests the nominal codes that you would use for each category. All of these can be amended as required. And as you'll see a little bit later on, you can also set up overrides if there's specific elements of the pay that you want posted to different destinations. So I am going to click Use Default Nominal Codes. It just warns me that that would overwrite any nominal codes already entered, which doesn't matter to me because I don't have any entered. So I'm going to click Yes to continue. And you can see some of the main categories are now filled in with default nominal codes. Now, the other option on the defaults tab is in relation to overrides. So with the nominal link, you can choose to override the codes that you're posting to by an employee's department or cost center. So effectively, it gives you the option of creating separate nominal settings for each specific department or cost center that you've set up in Sage 50 Payroll. So you would choose one or the other option. And today we will be overriding by department. That's something I'm going to show you a little bit later on. The other option just to mention on the defaults tab is clearing the posting history. Now, if, for example, you started using nominal link some time ago, but you stopped using it, and you want to start using it again, you can clear the posting history, which will allow you to choose a new starting point for your nominal link postings without having to complete previous periods through the nominal link wizard. So that can come in quite handy if you had a go at setting it up in the past and you want to start literally from scratch. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to enter some nominal codes. So ideally, you should have a nominal code entered for each of the categories that you see listed here. So these categories are predefined. And as you can see, some of the nominal codes are already entered for me. Now, if there's a category that you know you will never use, for example, if I never charge an attachments admin fee, I could choose to leave that blank as it is here. But just be aware that if a posting is made under that category and there's no nominal code entered in the settings, it will cause a misposting to a suspense nominal code. So you should definitely fill in a nominal code for each category that you would use in payroll. So you can see it's already suggested nominal code 7000 for any deductions. We've got one for employers' national insurance and employers' pension. We've got all of our payments currently being posted to nominal code 7000, just for gross wages. And the rest of the categories in this list all relate to statutory payments. So you've got parental payments, adoption and shared parental pay, etc. And we've also got statutory sick pay. So what I'm going to do, just for ease, is for any statutory parental payment, I'm going to enter my SMP recovered nominal code. And then for statutory sick pay, I've got one for SSP. So I've got everything filled in except for attachments admin fee, because that's a category that I know that I'll never use. I would then do something similar for the balance sheet analysis. So again, it has suggested codes for loan repayments, national insurance, net wages, PAYE and pension. But I'm going to fill in some of the blanks here. And because I'm connected and I've already logged into my accounts, I can actually see the nominal codes by opening the drop-down list. So I could pick one from here if I wasn't sure which accounts nominal code I want to use. And if required, you can actually create new nominal codes from your nominal settings by simply clicking New, and then you can type the code that you want to post to. So I'm going to create a new one to record attachment of earnings. So that can then be paid off when the attachment is paid over to whoever it might be. Now, if you do create any nominal records via the nominal link settings, you do get a warning just advising you to check that it's in your chart of accounts, something you would do in accounts. I'm not using holiday fund at all in my payroll, so I'm going to leave that one blank. But I do have missing codes for postgraduate and student loans. And I'm actually going to post these to the same location as my PAYE. So it's 2210 and 2210. And then finally, you can specify a bank payment nominal code, and that will then give you the option of also posting the bank payment of the wages or the net wages at the same time as the nominal link. So I know that my wages are paid from my current account, so I'm going to select that as the bank payment nominal code. And you'll see when I post this to accounts, it will also post a journal for that bank payment. Now that is only for net wages. Any other payments that you might make for tax and national insurance, for example, or attachments and pensions, you would need to post those in your accounts manually. Now, once you have some settings entered, you can save them by clicking OK. That will just return you to your main payroll desktop. And then to go back in to make any amendments or additions to that, go back into your nominal settings. You'll then be prompted to log in. So again, you would need to enter your accounts login details, and that will then take you back in to your nominal link settings. So I have entered a default set of nominal codes, but I also want to show you the override options as well. And most commonly, these will be used for profit and loss information. So giving you that more detailed analysis of your payroll costs. So you'll see the override settings are found at the bottom of the screen. So we can override by a specific payment type, deduction, pension scheme. You can override employers' NI costs based on the pay element that's associated with. And we also have the departmental override options, which allows you to override all of the postings for employees that are assigned to a specific department. So I'll give you an example of a payments override. If I click onto this option, the way that this works is you would choose a specific pay element. In my case, I'm going to choose commission. And then instead of having commission sent to my default payments nominal code, which is 7,000, I can choose an alternative code. It's actually going to be my sales commissions nominal. And I can click OK, which then saves that override. So now any commission payments will be separated from other payments, and they will be posted to that different nominal code. I could do the same with deductions. So I've got a deduction set up for a subscription. You might have deductions set up for, I don't know, employee loans, anything like that. So you could choose that, and you could specify an alternative nominal code. The pensions override is to override the employer pension contribution for a specific scheme. And for the employer's NI override, again, it is based on a specific payment, but it's the employer's NI associated with that payment, so the proportion of the employer's NI that can be overridden. Now, departmental override works differently to the other ones. So when you go into this, it will show you any departments that you've got set up, and it'll indicate whether they are already overridden. So I'm going to use this for my directors department because I want all of my directors' salary information to be posted to different nominal codes to non-directors. So if I select that department and click edit, you can see that I have a completely separate set of nominal settings. So these are the same P&L categories, and I can choose which of these I want to override. So in this case, I am going to override directors' payments, and I'm going to put them in a directors' salaries nominal code. And I'm also going to override the employer's NI for my directors. And again, I have a specific nominal code I want to use for that as well. Now, quite often, if you're using departmental overrides, you might also want the transaction to be posted to a specific department in accounts. And you can do that by specifying the accounts department reference in the accounts department column. So that's one way you can post to a department in accounts. And you can also have overrides within the override. So same as we saw before for payments, deductions, pensions, and employer's NI. But I'll try and keep things relatively straightforward. So I've just overridden the payments and employer's NI for my directors. You can see that now shows yes in the override column. And you'll see when we post the nominal link that that information starts to be separated out. Now, there are also override settings for the balance sheet. So if there's a particular attachment type that has its own nominal code, you can do an attachments override. I'm going to set one up for pensions. So because I have more than one pension scheme, I just want to split out pension contributions for my Aviva pension. I'm going to post them to a different nominal code to the main pension fund. So I'm actually going to create a new one as I did before. So code 2231. That's then created it in my accounts. And if I click OK, and I'm ready to save any changes, simply click OK again. Now, a quick tip, if you want to check your nominal settings, particularly if you've entered a lot of overrides, you don't want to have and keep going back in and out of those override options, there is a print button, which will print all of your nominal settings. And to show you what that looks like, here's what I did earlier. So these are my nominal settings, where I can see at a glance the default codes I've entered for my profit and loss analysis. We've got a payment override for our commissions and for our directors department. And then here on the balance sheet, got the codes I entered, got that pensions override, and I've got my bank payment nominal code. So useful report if you want to check your settings at a glance, and you can simply print that report from within nominal settings. So now that that's set up, a quick overview of what we did there. So in the nominal settings, we selected where we wanted to post to. So in this example, we've chosen Sage 50 accounts. We browsed to our company file. So the default path is shown just there, and we selected the company we want to post to. We've entered nominal codes for profit and loss and balance sheet analysis. So there are default nominal codes. And then we've set up a few overrides as well, which will split out some of the information being posted. Now that this is set up, we are ready to post the nominal link to accounts. So this will calculate the journals. I can choose a starting point for these postings. And if I need to go back a few months just to catch up on previously ran payrolls, I can do that. And it will automatically post these transactions into accounts. We'll get Michael to show you those once we've posted a couple of periods. So just so you understand where this fits in to the payroll process, it is a post-update task. So before you can post the nominal link, you will need to run update records, as it's the historical information that is used to calculate the salary journals. You'll run through the nominal link wizard, and you will have the opportunity to print the transactions if you want to, or to send them to Excel. And because we're posting to accounts, when we complete the wizard, it's going to ask us to log in, and that is what will then physically post those transactions into the accounts data. So quick look at this now from the payroll side. So I'm going to return to my payroll tasks. I'm actually just about to complete my May payroll. So I will go ahead and update the records for my May payments. And then you would see that the next task in my payroll tasks is to post the nominal link. Now, I'm actually going to post it for April and May. So April was the start of my financial year, and that's when I want to start using the nominal link wizard. And because this is the first time I'm going into this option, when I click onto nominal link, takes me into the nominal link wizard, and then it's going to ask me for a starting point for the nominal link postings. So this goes as far back as my historical data, which is back to April 2023, but I'm actually going to choose April of 2025 to be my first nominal link posting, and then I will be prompted to post each subsequent period in order from this point. So if I click onto next, it's going to show me the employees to be included, which is the 5 that I have currently highlighted. And when I click next again, we can enter a transaction reference of up to 8 characters. We can set the transaction date, which I'm just going to leave as the process date. And then you can choose whether to post grouped transactions, where you get a total posted to each nominal code, or you can clear this box and post them as ungrouped transactions, which will then create separate journals for each individual employee. Now, I am going to keep it grouped in this example, and I'm going to click onto next, and you can then see a preview of the transactions that will be posted into accounts. So just to pick a few of these out and show you the impact of some of those overrides. I mean, it's starting with some liabilities for net wages, national insurance, and PAYE. We've got the Aviva pension separated from our other pension scheme. And looking at the debit side, got some payments here to our payments nominal code. Got commission that has been separated from that. And we will also have somewhere in here some of the overridden information. So that's overridden employers NI and overridden directors payments. Now, an easier way to visualize this is to print it out. So you have got an option of printing this report. That's going to look something like this. So it gives you all of the transactions, obviously with the total debits and credits matching. And if you do have any statutory payments, they are accounted for automatically, including any amounts recovered. So I've got some adoption pay being paid out this period. So that was the cost of the adoption pay, but then we have a credit for the amount of that that was been recovered. And that also kind of adjusts the national insurance nominal code, reducing your liability there. So I'm going to move on to my next step, and because I had a bank nominal code entered, I can do my bank payment posting. So that's the net wages. It's going to post a journal for that. That's what that looks like. If I click onto finish, that's going to ask me to log in. So again, I have my own accounts login that I use, and a nominal link has then finished posting the transactions. So that's my first period posted, and then moving forward, I would just run the nominal link after I've updated records. So I do have one further period I want to post, which is for May. That'll take me into the nominal link wizard again. I can follow through the same steps, and I'm going to keep the transactions grouped, but this time it's for the May payroll. I can print my report, send it to Excel. This is going to be my bank payment. And this is the second month, which is now also posted into accounts. And we're now fully up to date. So if I try to run it again, there's nothing found. So that is ready for when I do my June payroll. Once I've updated records, I can then post the nominal link. So that is it from the payroll side of things. I have linked to more information on posting the nominal link on the slide, but I would like to hand back to Michael. He's going to show you what that all looks like in Sage 50 accounts. So back over to you, Michael.
Thank you, Duncan. Right, okay, so if we pop back into Sage 50 accounts, and what we've specifically done today is we tried not to complicate things. So in the transactions list within Sage 50 accounts, we've got the 2 nominal link sets of postings only. So we try not to blur that information by having loads of other information in the background. So we got the 2 sets of nominal link postings basically. Now it's really simple. Obviously, it's got the journal on for the bank payment as well. Someone mentioned a little bit about that. So double-sided journal as well. Obviously, you got one debit, one credit for the payment that was made as part of that. So it just tags it on to the end of the journal essentially. Now, what you will find, just going to nominal codes, obviously we've got our postings on there. And for those of you that may not be familiar with the accounting side of it, what it will do, the nominal link posting, is it will post your journals, and we'll be left with, actually I think this journal's already been done, so we've already got our postings on, a lot of our postings on there. So when it comes to actually pay the net wages, obviously this one is already done. We don't have to post that as an additional transaction because Duncan included that as part of the nominal link. But you do have things like your PAYE and national insurance. So the payment of that itself to HMRC, that's not included as part of the journal. So what we've done is it's essentially established the liability that you will owe. So let's say we were ready to pay this one, both for the PAYE and the NI. So I'll just make a quick note of those values. And it would just be, now we could do this as part of a journal. We could do an additional journal for this, but the easier option is just to do a straightforward bank payment. So let's say we were making our payment to HMRC for both the PAYE and the national insurance. Just be a case of going into our bank accounts area, choosing the bank payment option, choose the bank account that you're going to be making the payment out of. Now, if this is collected by, like a direct debit, for instance, it's collected automatically, then it'd just be a case of you entering this transaction to essentially show that. So pop in the bank account that the money is being paid out of. I'll just leave it as today's date. I'll put HMRC as my reference. Nominal code, I want to put the first one in, so 2210 for PAYE. Details, I'll just put PAYE in that. And the value was 3095.60. And obviously remember, you should be posting this with a T9 tax code. So you want it to be your non-votable tax code. And then we continue down to the next line. Now, rather than type all the information in again, we can use the button at the top. So we can copy the cell above, or we could just press F6. So if you press F6, whatever's in the box above, it'll just copy that down for you. So we want this to be grouped, different nominal code this time. So we want the national insurance. Let's put NI, we'll pop the value in for that one. And then again, this should also be T9. We don't want these transactions being picked up on our VAT return. So we're making a total payment of £3,133.10. So we're just recording that in our account. So when we save that, close out, obviously the money will be deducted from the bank. And if we go back to our nominal codes list, you can see we've essentially paid off that liability in our accounts now. So we've recorded that in our accounts. So nice and easy to do that. Do keep your questions coming. We'll come back to them in just a moment, any that we haven't already picked up. Excuse me. Now, as far as the journals coming across, because we're bound to get a question on this as well. What happens if you've made a mistake, or what happens if maybe you've posted something to the wrong nominal code? What are you going to do then? Now, one thing to be aware of with journals posted via the nominal link is that you could highlight a line, but when you go to edit, it won't let you amend things like the nominal code. So what we term in Sage 50 accounts as being the critical fields, you can't amend those. So you would need to post additional journals to, if you've posted something in the wrong nominal code, you need to transfer it, or maybe you didn't split it at the time, but you need to split it now, then you would need to post additional journals. Now, we do have webinar recordings on correcting journals. It will outline the options in a bit more detail, depending on what your needs are. But really, as far as your accounts is concerned, you don't really need to do anything. It just pulls that information across. So I don't have to sit and go into the nominal codes, into the journal entry screen and manually enter that journal into my accounts. Right, let's pop back to the slides then. It does bring us to the end of what we'd planned to cover demo-wise. So let's just quickly mention about additional support. So if you're looking to sign up for additional webinars, this link will be included as well on your follow-up email. So just head along to sage.co.uk/webinars. You'll be able to sign up for additional live webinars for both Sage 50 Accounts and Sage 50 Payroll, and you do have access to the recordings from that page as well. If you have any additional questions, if you want to start popping them in there now, I think we've just about picked up all of the questions that have been submitted so far. So if you've got any, good chance to get them submitted. We'll try our best to pick those up before we end the session today. So remember to submit your questions. If you weren't quite with us at the beginning of the session, just click the little speech bubble icon. It's the one on your taskbar on the right. You'll then be able to start typing in that box in the bottom right-hand corner, and remember to click send, otherwise we won't see that. And if you do want a copy of today's slides, there is an opportunity to download the handout. Again, just click that link on your taskbar down the right. Remember, you will receive that recording. That will be with you. A link to that will be included on the follow-up email, which you receive in around about an hour's time. Now, before we move on to some of those questions that we do have, just want to quickly thank you for coming along. Hope you enjoyed the session today. For those of you that aren't using Nominal Link so far, hopefully it's given you a little bit of encouragement to try that. It can be a good time saver. A lot of people don't realize that that option is there. So get it set up. Yes, there's a little bit of work involved in getting it set up, but once it's there, it's just something that you're going to use and you don't need to keep changing each time. A lot quicker than posting that journal manually. Now, as you leave the session today, there will be an opportunity to complete our little survey. It should take you about a minute max to complete that. So any thoughts, ideas that you want to share with us, feedback on the webinar in general, topics you'd like to see covered going forward, do let us know. Do take that opportunity to provide your feedback. And as I mentioned, that follow-up email will be with you in around about an hour's time. So if you are wanting to register for any other upcoming webinars or watch recordings, then do watch out for that. Right, what we're going to do, sorry, if you're about to leave, many thanks. Hopefully we'll see you again on some of our upcoming sessions. What we're going to do now, though, is we're going to start opening up to some of those questions. So let's start with a one from Martina there. So Duncan, let's get you involved in this as well. So
Sure.
What are the question from Martina there, right at the end, what are the main pitfalls of using the nominal link? So possibly a bit of a rumor, someone's maybe had a bad experience with it previously. My predecessor says that it causes issues. So anything you're aware of?
It's not that it would cause issues and stuff. I think getting the setup right the first time is the key. Some of the tips I would give you there is printing your nominal settings and making sure that you are happy with the codes that it's all posting to. Other pitfalls, if you like, would be if you need to make a correction in payroll. If you've rolled back one or more employees, you would then be prompted to post the nominal link again. So to make the correction in accounts, you might need to do some manual journal reversals. But if you've planned how you want your nominal settings to work and you've got any sort of overrides that you need in place, as long as you take a backup maybe before you do your first posting, take a backup in accounts and payroll, I would say that it should in the long run save you time. It's just sort of getting it set up the way you want it to be set up is the key.
Right, excellent. Okay, so give it a go, Martina. It's possibly just bad experience someone's had, not quite knowing what they were doing. Question from Melanie as well. Any ideas on how I can get Sage 50 Payroll to prompt me for my Sage 50 accounts log on? So when they click the nominal settings, it doesn't ask me. So at what point does it prompt you to log into Sage accounts?
Usually it should prompt you each time you go into the nominal settings. What I would suggest with this one is if you go into your nominal settings and change the destination to file instead of Sage 50 accounts, and then click OK. If you then go back into the nominal settings and set it to Sage 50 Payroll and rebrowse to your company file, at that point, when you select the company that you're posting to, that is when it should prompt you to log in, and then you'll be able to sort of see the nominal codes from accounts and choose them from that drop down.
Excellent. Okay, so question from Anne as well. We use departments for each of our employees as well as nominal codes. Is it possible to link to departments?
Now, you do have departmental overrides. So if you need the transactions to be posted to that department for any employee that belongs to that department, the way you would do that is you would create departmental overrides. And in the accounts department column, you could then type in the accounts department reference, and then the salary journals that are posted for that department will also post into that department in accounts. So you would have to use overrides in that scenario. So you would have a separate set of nominal codes for each department that you're using.
Right, okay. Question back from Melanie. Melanie, you mentioned that it's still not prompting you, so get in touch with our support team and they'll have a look at that with you. Make sure you go through to our payroll support team and they should be able to assist you with that one. Another question, one from Susan. I think this is probably one for myself this time. We don't use the general Sage codes. Would we need to change these each time there's a new version of the software? So no. Obviously, if you're upgrading your account software, your codes will they will upgrade with you. So you should only need to go to that nominal code, the nominal link settings just the once, unless anything changes, of course, then you can go back in and you can amend the settings. Let's talk a little bit about corrections, Duncan. So what happens if you've made a mistake in your payroll? What would your advice be as far as sort of the payroll and the nominal link side is concerned?
Yeah, so if you are going to be reprocessing in your payroll, so you're either rolling back or restoring a backup, you will then be prompted to post the nominal link again for any periods that you've reprocessed. So a couple of ways you can approach it. If you've restored a backup and you post the full nominal link again, you could simply reverse the original journals that were posted, and I believe there's a journals reversal option in Sage 50 accounts that would help you with that. If it's just an individual employee that you've made a correction to, you'd probably find it useful to run the historical nominal link report for that individual, so you can run it ungrouped, and that will give you a record of the journals that related to that employee that you've rolled back. So when you correct them, you update their records again, you could post the corrected journals, and then you've got a record of what you need to reverse, so what was posted the first time round. The other way you can approach it is you can not post the nominal link. You can set it to post to file, and then you can do manual journals in accounts to correct it. If you search our help center for nominal link corrections, there's some great advice in there as well.
Excellent. And Duncan just mentioned there as far as the account side of it is concerned, we looked a little bit before where you couldn't edit the critical fields of a journal, but he did mention the journal reversal option. I'll just quickly share my screen, and for those of you that do use accounts, quickly show you. Now, if you need to reverse a nominal link posting, obviously there's quite a bit, so you just need to go and pop into transactions, find your nominal link posting. So let's say it's these ones, the ones that are dated the 31st of the 5th, 2025. So let's say that's the one that we need to undo. Just make a note of the date. Into nominal codes, you've got the journal reversal option. Where are we? Can't see it for looking. It's on my other screen. Spare me 1 second there. There it is. So we've got the journal reversal option pop up. So all we need to do is just OK that. We've then got the option to bring that screen across as well. Pop in the date of your journal. So the date of the nominal link, so it was the 31st of the 5th, 2025 in my case. Just OK that. It will give you a list of the journals. So it'll identify all the journals and accounts that have been posted on that date. Now, there may be other journals posted, particularly with it being the last day of the month. So you may have done month-end journals as well. So if you do things like prepayments, accruals, there may be other ones in there as well. So it's just a case of you going down and selecting the journals that you wish to reverse. Now, in my case, I can just click swap because I know it's all of them. They all form part of that same nominal link posting. And then it would just be a case of clicking reverse once you've made your selection. You'll get the journal reversal window pop up based on everything that's been selected. You should be able to see, if we just see at the top here, the original posting against 2220 was for that amount as a credit, and it's going to post it here as a debit to reverse it. So it saves you keying in that full nominal link reversal journal. So we just click save, it will post those journals for me, and that's it done. Hope that makes sense. Right, let's see if we've got any additional questions that have come through just while I was running through that one. I think that is it. Actually, we've got one from Sue there. So Sue's just asking, I'll just get rid of my screen for a moment there. So Sue's just asking, I think back to you for this one again, Duncan. Am I able to enter, for example, Department 2 and then Departments 3, 4 to 5 and 6 grouped together? Can I group together, or do you need to enter separately in the nominal link?
Okay, so if for this one, you can only do individual department overrides, but if you used your default nominal settings for employees in departments 3, 4, 5, and 6, all of their transactions would be grouped together and they would all be posted to the same nominal code. And then you could override department 2, which with whatever alternative nominal codes you want to use, or any of the other individual departments could be overridden. But obviously there's only one set of default nominal codes. So in your example, I would just not do an override for departments 3 to 6 and have them all posted to the defaults, but then override department 2 if that has its own set of nominal codes. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, right, questions starting to dry up now. So I think we're just about ready to end the webinar just at that point. So once again, as you leave, do take that opportunity to have your say. Do complete that survey. It should take you about a minute max. Do share your thoughts, your ideas, any feedback on the webinar itself, topics you'd like to see covered. And again, watch out for that follow-up email. It will contain the link that you need so you can watch the recording of today's session if you need a bit of a recap, or maybe you want to share it with your colleagues. So once again, many thanks from myself, from Duncan, and hopefully we'll see you again on some future webinars soon.